To start, just come to lay on your back with your feet bent and your knees pointing straight up to the ceiling. Have your feet about hip width apart. And then just take a nice big inhale. Your arms can either be by your sides or on your stomach. And just feel yourself expand in all 360 degrees as you inhale. And then exhale. Feel yourself sort of descend and get a little bit heavier into the floor. And then again, inhale. And exhale. 2 more like this. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Last breath. Just staying still, feeling your body sink into the floor. Hips are heavy, ribs are heavy, shoulders are heavy. And then from here, just let your right leg fall out to the side, keeping it bent. Your left leg's going to remain going up towards the ceiling, coming onto that outside edge of your right foot, and then resist to bring it back in. Staying on that right side, let that leg fall out to the side. Only going so far that that left hip stays heavy on the floor. And then again, back out. You can bring your left hand onto your hip if that helps. Give you a little bit more feedback. 2 more. Left leg stays still. And last one. Good. Bring your right leg all the way out. Let that foot be heavy. And then switch sides. So left leg is going to externally rotate out to the side and then resist to bring it back in. And back out. And out. And out. And start to feel the length through your inner thigh as you open your leg, like letting yourself get a little bit of a stretch. But then feel the engagement of your inner thigh drawing in and down towards your pelvis as you lift. And think about being nice and wide through your sacrum as you come back up. And open. 3 more. 2. And last one. Good. And then from here, you're going to go back to your right leg. So lift your right toes up and then slide your left, or your right leg rather, straight. And then externally rotate it so that your knee and foot are gently pointing out to the side, inner thighs up towards the ceiling, and then drag your heel along the floor. Knee bends wide to the side, and then bring it back to the center. And then lift up those toes and then extend it out and open out to the right and then resist back in with that external rotation and then bring it up to the top. Again, toes lift, extend that arm, leg. My brain's not working. Externally rotate from the top of the leg, resist to bring it in and come all the way to the top. Switching sides, left toes up to the ceiling, extend that leg. Externally rotate and then resist to drag it back in and then up to the top. 4 more. 5 more. We did 6 on the other side. Moving at your own pace. And just check in with your shoulders if they've started to want to creep up off the floor. If they have, bring your arms along by your side if they're not there already. But turn your palms up towards the ceiling. External rotate and really think about resisting as you come back. And to the top. Last one. Externally rotate. And in. And pause here. From here, you're going to bring your legs all the way together, or your feet and legs all the way together. So you have one giant leg here. And you're going to bring both legs over to the right. Your left hip will lift a little. You're on the outside edge of your right foot. And then bring them back up to the center and then twist over to the other side. Again, left foot, or rather right foot, right hip will lift, but keep your shoulders on the floor. And then bring them back to the center and over to the other side. Taking a nice twist here. Two more. And last one. And then come back to the center. Keeping your feet together. You're going to externally rotate and let both legs fall out towards the side. And then you're going to resist to bring them back into the center. Planting both feet, bring your legs all the way together, knees, inner thighs, everything. And then again, open out to the sides. And then resist to bring them back in. And really moving with intention and thinking about lowering your legs down rather than letting them just flop open and then just slapping them closed. Two more like this. And last one. And then here, if it's comfortable, you can let your legs stay in external rotation like this. You can bring your feet all the way together if that's more comfortable. Do whatever works here. And if you need at any point, you can just bring your legs back to be planted on the floor. Bring your hands behind your head. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up off the floor, feeling your ribs slide down towards your hips. Take a nice big inhale here, and then exhale, lower all the way back down. And then again, curl yourself all the way up and back down. And again, if this hurts your low back at all, separate your feet so they're not touching, or just plant your feet on the ground, whichever is the most comfortable for you. And lifting up for 4, 3, really feeling your back ribs press into the floor as you lift, and then your head pressing back into your hands. Last one here, pause, and then you're going to bring your legs back to that parallel position, or all the way together, whichever is more comfortable. You're going to lower your head all the way down and open your legs all the way wide. And then you're going to lift your head up, and then you're going to bring your legs all the way together, and then you're going to lower your head and then open from the legs. Lift the head, neck, and shoulders, bring the legs together, and lower the head. Lower the legs all the way down towards the floor, and then lift the head, neck, and shoulders here, and then bring the legs all the way together, holding at the top. And then lower the head as you lower the legs, and then resist as you come all the way up and the legs come together. And then again, lowering everything all the way down, nice and slowly together, and lift all the way up. And back out. And imagine like when you come up, you're squeezing a ball in between those thighs, or using the thigh master, I guess, kind of the same thing. Pause here at the top. Open your legs all the way. And then lower the head. And then bring the legs together as you lift the head, alternating the movement, and then open as you lower. And you can make this a little bit more fluid, not bring your legs quite so far down as you curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. 3 more. 2, make sure your chin is not pressing into your chest. You've got a little bit of space there. Last one, pause here. Lower the right leg down and twist up and over towards the left, leaving that right leg where it is. Then you're going to keep rotating over towards the left for 6. 5, really feel that right rib slide over towards your left hip. 3, 2, last one, stay here, bring the right leg all the way up. You can bring your feet back to parallel here instead of together, and then let that right leg come out and back in, staying in this little rotation here for 4, 3, if you can, have that left shoulder blade off the floor. 2, try to curl up a tiny bit higher. Last one, and then rotate back to center, lower all the way down. Give yourself a second here, and then when you're ready, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Let that left leg fall out to the side, and then twist and rotate up and over towards the right leg for 8, 7. Again, press your head back into your hands. 5. Make sure you're not squeezing that glute for dear life on the left side. 2. Right hip is still heavy. Last one, pause here, stay in that rotation, and then lift up that left leg and then lower it back down. For 4. 3, just notice if on one side this is way harder than the other. 2. Last one, pause with your legs at the top, rotate towards the center, lower all the way down. Bring your legs long and reach your hands overhead and take a nice big stretch. And then plant your feet back on the floor, bring your hands by your sides, and then curl through the lower back, bring the hips up towards the ribs, and then peel yourself up off the floor one vertebrae at a time, keeping those shoulder blades on the mat, and then just slowly peel yourself all the way down. And then again, hips up towards your ribs, peel yourself up, and lower back down. From here, float your arms up in line with your shoulders, and as you curl your hips up, your arms are going to find the floor. And then as you lower down, your arms are going to lift back up. Curl the hips up as you lower the arms. And if you'd like to switch into just a straight hip lift, keeping a more neutral pelvis as you lift up off the floor, you're welcome to do that instead of the slower articulated move. Either way, not going particularly fast here. For 3, 2, last one like this. And then from here, curl your head, neck, and shoulders down. Hips hit the mat, lift your arms. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up as you press down from the arms, and then lower the arm and head as you lift the hips. Arms come up. Lower the hips down as you bring the head, neck, and shoulders up. And then lower the head, lift the arms, lift the hips. So the arms and head are working together, and the hips are working in opposition, but make sure you're not lifting your hips up before you lift your head. Up and back down. 2 more. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up, reaching long through the hands. Press the feet through the floor as you lift the hips. This next time, you're going to stay lifted. If you would like to lower your arms to the floor, go for it. You're going to make sure that your feet are planted right underneath you. You can feel them pressing down towards the floor and maybe a little pull back on the heels towards your shoulders. Arms are nice and wide. And then from here, you're going to let your right leg fall out to the side. Not as big of a range of motion. And resist to bring it back in. Alternating sides here, left leg falls out to the side and resist to bring it back in. And same thing over to the right and resist back in. You can always put your hands down, or you can bend at the elbow and be somewhere in between. Over to the left. 2 more to each side. And to the left. Last one. Good. Pause here. Lower the hips all the way down. Bring the right leg into tabletop here. Hands behind the head, and then curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Let your hips be nice and heavy. Extend that right leg long and resist to bring it in. And extend it long. Your left leg is staying nice and still. If you really want that extra challenge, bring your leg up into tabletop, but I'm going to keep mine on the ground. We have 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. Bring that leg back to tabletop, lower your head, neck, and shoulders down, and then plant that leg back on the floor. Lift the hips. Bring your right leg back to that tabletop. You're nice and open through the chest. Extend that leg long. And resist to bring it in. And extend it long and resist. For 4, 3, 2, last one. Plant that foot all the way down. Peel yourself down 1 vertebrae at a time. Bring your left leg up into tabletop. Hands come behind the head. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. You're staying here as you bend, or extend rather, and bend in with that left leg. Really think about keeping the heel more or less at the same height and resist as you extend, open through the back of the leg, and then drag that leg back in. And in. 3 more. 2. Last one. Lower that leg all the way down, head, neck, and shoulders lower towards the floor, arms come by your sides, peel the hips up. Lift your left leg up into tabletop and extend and bend. And extend and bend. Again, you can turn your palms up towards the ceiling, externally rotating the upper arm to find that opening the chest. And you can always press the backs of your arms into the floor by bending your elbows a little bit more. 2 more. Last one. Lower that leg all the way down. Peel yourself down 1 vertebrae at a time. Really feel that tuck under through the pelvis. And try to give yourself a little bit more length through the spine. Release to neutral. Bring the right leg up to tabletop and the left leg up to meet it. Glue your legs all the way together. Just like we did with our feet planted on the floor, you're going to let your knees come over to the right. You can bring your arms wide to a T, to a cactus, whatever works, and then back up to the center. Make sure your knees, though, are staying nice and even as they come from one side to the other to make sure that you're really twisting through the hips. So your left hip will lift as you go over to the right, back to the center. And you can think about as you twist, you're here, you're in your twist, you're good. And then think like someone is pulling your hip back down to earth like it's a little balloon. I don't know. Macy's Day balloons is some in my mind, I guess. And then back to the center, last one over to the left. And then pause here. You're going to glue your heels together and you're going to externally rotate from the thigh. And then resist to bring your legs back in and externally rotate. And bring them in. Your knees won't necessarily touch. That's totally fine. Just really focusing on the internal or the external rotation and rather than neutral rotation. 2 more. And then we'll add the internal rotation. Last one. Good. From here, bring your knees together and internally rotate the thighs. The feet will go wide and then bring it back to the center. And then internally rotate like the tops of your knees are trying to touch. Really rotating through that upper leg for 3, 2, and last one. Good. And now externally rotate. Your feet come together, knees apart. And then feet apart, knees together. We're just going to do 4, 3, 2, last one. And we're going to take a nice stretch after one more thing here. Bring your legs parallel. Keep that space in between the legs. And now you're going to bring your arms up in line with your shoulders. And you're going to let your arms and legs fall out to the side. And then resist to bring them back in, but don't let them touch. And then open out to the side. And then feel like they're being resisted back together by magnets, but then they're opposite so they can't touch. And then back out. And in. 4 more. 3, 2, resist. Back ribs are heavy. Last one. And then lower your arms and legs. You can bring your arms overhead. You can bring your legs out long if that feels good. Take a nice stretch. Or you can bring your legs into a ball and rock back and forth from one side to the other. Or you can do both. I'll do both. And then you're going to roll over onto one side. Doesn't matter what side. And then press yourself up. So we're going to be done on our backs now for the rest of class, seeing how we just spent 20 minutes there. And we're going to now come into all fours. And then just bring your right leg in between your hands and then press yourself up to be in this nice 90-90 kneeling position. Make sure your foot and your knee, like on opposite sides, aren't too close together to challenge your balance. Like, let there be a little bit of space between your right and left legs. All right, from here, really thinking about tucking the tailbone under. Think that it's pointing almost towards your right heel. And then think about coming up nice and tall through the chest. You're stacked in a nice long line. Your right hand can be on your thigh or by your side. And then you're just gonna take your left arm straight up towards the ceiling. Reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling and do nothing here, but think about how much you're tucking your tailbone under. And then rotate, side bend over towards that right side, but still thinking about reaching long. Don't let that right hip hike. Try to keep reaching that hip down, or the sitting bone down towards the ground. And then come back to the center. And then bring your hands down by your knee. And then slide your left leg a little bit back behind you. If you need to, if your knees are sensitive, grab a towel or just fold your mat over. And then again, press yourself up into this little more intense lunge here. Right hand on your right hand on your right thigh, left hand on your hip. And then still think about tucking your tailbone under and then thinking about reaching forward and lifting. And again, feel that stretch through that left side. If you'd like, again, you can reach that arm up and then add a little bit of a side bend. One more breath here, relaxing your shoulders and face. And then bring your hands down towards the floor. And then just twist and rotate open towards the right. Think about keeping your right hip in underneath you. And then tap that arm down. And then again, open back up. And back down. We did a little twisting through our lower body, so now we'll do some through our upper body here. 2 more. And last one. Hold here for just a second. If you want, tuck your toes under and lift that back leg. And then bring that arm all the way down. Bring your right foot back to meet your left and find yourself in a nice plank. If you want to drop to your knees, that's fine. Think about reaching through the crown of your head, sliding the heels of your hands back towards your feet, reaching through the heels. Take one more breath here. Inhale and exhale, lower down to your knees. I'm going to fold my mat over for this side. So now your left knee will be down. Nope, other way. Right knee will be down. Left leg in front. And then just starting in this nice 90-90 position, really tuck the tailbone under and thinking about getting length through the right thigh and then open all the way through that right hip flexor. Cool. Again, make sure your knee and foot aren't too close together. And then reach that right arm up towards the ceiling. And then just keep thinking about tucking that tailbone under, really lengthening through the front of the hip. And side bend up and over towards the left. Relax your face. And then coming all the way up, bring your hands down. And then you're going to slide your knee back behind you a bit. All right. And then from here, you are going to tuck that tailbone under and find yourself in a nice lunge, left hand on your left foot. You can either just stay here, or if you want, you can reach that arm straight up. Or even add in that side bend if it feels good. And then lower your hands all the way down towards the floor. And you're going to keep that left hip underneath you as you twist and rotate. Press up through that right arm as you lift your left arm to twist. And then tap that arm back down towards the floor and rotate. And back down and rotate. Think about pressing the floor away on that right hand and down and rotate. 2 more. And last one. Pause here for just a second. Again, if you want to tuck those right toes under and lift that leg up, you can. And lower that hand all the way down. And then just come down onto your hands and knees. Uncurl your mat if you need. Or, we're still going to be on our knees for a little while, so you can keep it if you would like. All right, from here, you are going to have your hands up right underneath your shoulders. And then think about extending your right leg, and then do it. And then float it up towards the ceiling. And then from here, you're just going to lower that leg down and lift it up and down. Neck is nice and long. Thinking about lengthening through that whole front of the leg, but you don't need to lift particularly high. 3 more. 2. Last one. Tuck the toes under on that right leg and then reach back through your heel so you get a little stretch here. And then bring that knee underneath you and then square yourself off. From here, you're going to bring your left hand now behind your head. And you're going to press through your right hand and you're going to twist and rotate open towards the left. And then bring your elbow towards your right arm. Twist towards the right and then press and lift to rotate over towards the left. And then back down. If you feel unsteady here, bring your knees a little wider. You can make them shoulder width instead of hip width. And twist and rotate. Really thinking about pressing the floor away. It's hard. It's really hard. 2 more. Last one. Good. And then find your left hand on the floor. And then bring your knees back to hip distance. And extend that left leg back behind you. Float it up. Keep pressing the floor away with those hands. And then find that connection of the lats to the armpits, of that gentle drag back of the heels of your hands towards your knee. 4 more. 3. 2. Last one, curl the toes under, and then press back, get a nice stretch to the back of that left leg. And then bring your knees down. Again, make them a little wider if you need the extra base of support. And then hand comes behind your head, not your right head. And then twist and rotate open. And then bring that elbow towards your left arm. And then twist and rotate. And back down. And twist and rotate. 4 more. Really think about pressing the floor away with that left arm. 2. And last one. Good. Come to the center, lower all the way down, and then come over onto your left side. So from here, stack your hips. Elbow is right underneath your shoulder. And then again, find that pull in that connection, that left underside now of your body. And we're just going to do a little clamshell here, opening up through that top leg and resist back down. And open and resist. 3 more. 2. Last one. Leave that leg open on the top side and then come back off of your hip just a little bit and then bring your your bottom leg to meet it and then lower it back down. If you would like to bring, your other hand down to the ground, go for it. Resisting to bring that leg up and back down. 2 more. Last one. Good. And then let both legs come down. From here, lift your top leg, extend it long, and resist to bring it back in, keeping it at the same height. So your foot, your knee, your hip, all at the same height. And extend, and bend it back in, and extend. And when you're extended, your heel is right underneath you as though you could stand on this leg if you were just popped upright. 2 more. And last one. Good. Bring that leg all the way in, lower it all the way down. From here, find a nice long line of the upper body, and then bring your knees a little bit away from you. We're going to do a few side planks here. Feel that connection of that underside of that body, and then lift the hips, and then lower the hips, and lift, and lower. 4 more. 3, 2, last one, hold. Lift the top leg, bend it in towards your chest, and then extend it long. You can extend your arm up towards the ceiling if you'd like. Bend it in and extend. 4 more. 3, 2. You can always lower your hip if you need. Last one. And then bend that leg all the way in, and then lower your hips all the way down. Extend your top leg long. You can come onto your hand instead of your forearm if you prefer. But you're going to reach up into this modified side plank here. And then you're going to lower your hips down. And lift. And down. And lift, really pressing the floor away. Again, you can do this on your forearm if you prefer. Last one, hold at the top. Press down through that right leg. Lift the left leg to meet the right, and then lower back down. And if this is too intense, you are going to come all the way down onto your side, extend the top leg, and lift the bottom leg to meet it. But if you want to be in your side plank, all that weight in that right side, take a big exhale, lift that bottom leg, and lower down. Inhale, exhale, and back down. Make sure that your weight is over your wrist. 2 more, because we're not doing more than 6 of these. And last one. And all the way down. And then swing your legs over to the other side. Having that forearm right underneath you. Knees are stacked, hips are reaching away, starting with your clamshell. Again, that elbow, make sure it's pulling in toward you, not sliding away. For 4, 3, 2, last one, and then come back a bit off of your hip, bring that top hand to the floor, and then bring the thighs together by lifting that bottom thigh. For 4, 3, 2, last one, come back onto your hip. Top leg lifts, extend it out long. And you can always come back to any of these, or the laying all the way down on your side, lifting that bottom leg to meet the top leg while your legs are straight, if the side plank variation is too much. 3, 2, really opening up through the front of that left hip. And then bring your legs all the way together. Bring them back behind you so you're in a little bit longer of a line, and then lift the hips up into your side plank. Adjust however you need, and then lower back down. And lift, and lower. Again, hand can be lifted, really thinking about pressing the floor away. 3 more. 2. And last one, stay lifted. Extend the top leg. Bend it in and extend. And bend and extend for 5, 4, 3. Same thing, keeping it at the same height. 2. And last one. Lower that leg all the way down. You can keep it long. And then you can come up again onto your hand. I'm just going to grab water. Do the same if you need. Excuse me. Hand or forearm. Left leg is long, right leg is underneath. And then you're going to come up into your side plank here. And then dip the hips. and lift. And dip the hips down and lift. For 4, 3, I'm going to do this side on my forearm, 2, and last one. Really put that weight into your left leg. From here, take an inhale. Don't move until after your breath has started. So inhale, exhale, float that bottom leg up and back down. You could always lift the knee and leave the foot on the floor. And down. 3 more. And down. 2. And last one. And lower your leg, lower your hips, and sit all the way up. Bring your legs, keep them on the left side, but separate them so that you come to a nice Z-sit here. So your right shin is in line with the long end of the mat. Hand on that hip, hand on the floor, and then just twist and spiral, rotate all the way around, lifting through that hip on the left side, opening that hip flexor. And then just send your hip all the way back down as you continue to grow tall. And then side bend up and over towards the left. And then reach through that right arm and twist towards your legs. Keep reaching. And then come all the way up. And then you're going to bring your legs around to the other side. Same thing. So right hand on your right hip. Think about reaching up and spiraling around, looking at, where the wall meets the ceiling. Right hip is open. And then think about that right hip magnetizing itself back to the floor. Keep growing taller. And then reach your hand over towards your right leg and side bend to the right. And then reach through your left arm as you twist and rotate towards your legs. And then come out of that. You're going to find yourself on all fours one more time. And then you're going to tuck your toes under and find yourself in a nice plank here. Separate your feet a tiny bit. And then you're going to twist your weight over to your left hand and open up into a side plank to the right. And then reach that hand back towards the floor. Find your plank. And then same thing, opening up over towards that right side. Or now you're opening to the left, and then come back to the center. And if you're on your knees, you are doing the same thing, just straightening that top leg. And then back to the center. Over to the other side. We're going to do 3 more to each side. And you can also do this on your forearms. 2. Making sure your hand is staying right underneath your shoulder. Last one to the left. And from here, if you like, you can either hold it or you can bring your bottom leg into your chest and reach it back behind you for 4. 3. Same thing, moving after you started breathing. Last one on this side. Come back to the center. Pause here before we go to the right for the last time. And then over to the left. Right hand down. Bring that knee in for 4. 3. 2. And last one. Come back to the center. Hold your plank here for 5. 4, 3, 2. Last one, lift your hips up. Or if you've had enough, find yourself in a child's pose, which is where we'll go in just a moment. Bend your knees, really tilt your pelvis. Reach your sitting bones up towards the ceiling. Find length through the torso. And then bring the heels together, feet wide. And sit all the way back. And relax down onto the floor. Let your arms be heavy. Let your head be heavy. And think that someone is gently pressing down on your hips to give you a little added stretch. Maybe one hand pushing your hips down and the other one on in between your scapula, pushing your spine away. And then from here, you're going to reach your hands over to the right side, bend your right hand, reach long through that left side. Fingertips and sitting bones reaching away from one another, and then use that right hand for a little bit of leverage. And then relax the right arm, relax into it. Two more breaths. Last one. And then up and over towards the right. Reach through the right arm, bend the left arm. Keep reaching the fingertips on the right away from the sitting bone. Use that left arm as leverage. And then relax into it. And then come back to the center and come all the way up. And this is the least pleasant stretch there ever was, I think. But we did lots and lots of inner thighs, so we'll do it. Hands in front of you, and then walk your knees out and have your feet, the inside edges of your feet pressing down, so you're in this frog position. You can stay up on your hands, think about lengthening through the spine, or you can come down onto your forearms. We'll stay here for like 30 seconds or so. Taking nice deep breaths into your hips, into those inner thighs. You want your feet more or less in line with your knees, so you have those nice 90-degree angles. If you have yoga blocks, you can use those to help prop you up. Again, keep that spine nice and long. 3 more breaths. Try to relax, especially your face, your pelvic floor. You have the relaxing noises of a screaming child. And then press yourself up, back onto your hands, and then bring your feet towards one another, slide your knees in, and then just sit back onto your feet. Stay nice and rounded here for a second. Excuse me. And then stack your spine up nice and tall. Reach your arms up out to the side. Clasp your thumbs, side bend over to the right gently, and then over to the left. 1 or 2 more times to each side. Just keeping your hips nice and heavy as you, kind of sway here. Last one. And then back to the top. Externally rotate your hands. Press down, let your shoulders fall. Think about growing nice and tall as you exhale. And you are all finished. Thanks.